I've been using Gornation's calisthenics equipment for over 2 years now. Some things I would definitely buy again, no thinking about it. But some of them I probably think twice before getting. So today I will break it down for you guys what's actually worth your money, especially now that Black Weekend is just around the corner. So you know exactly what to get and what to probably leave out. I just want to say I have some insanely good memories with these dip bars. These are actually the ones I did a front flip re-grab on. I didn't think it was going to be possible, but I definitely want to give it a go. And they held up. So I've done freestyle on them. I've also done a lot of planche training and front lever as well. You can see it as a set of dip bars, which is great for handstand and planche. But also if you would just take away one of them and have one left, it is a smaller version of a static bar, which you can for sure do front lever and also planche, of course, if you want it, but super neat and convenient if you don't have too much space. And that's why I've loved using these ones a lot. They're just very convenient and super versatile when it comes to training exercises. But I want to give you guys a broad idea of how much these equipments are actually being used. I personally have them almost every single session, but the thing is that I actually leave my equipment here in the gym. This is where I train and this is where I have been allowed to also leave all my equipment, meaning there are tons of people using them throughout the day. So it's not only me using them, but they are literally constantly being used by someone doing handstands, some people doing push-ups. And that is so nice for me to see, and that's of course why I leave them. But it means that it's going to be a bit more wear and tear on the equipment. However, this is where I've been pretty surprised, to be honest. The only things I've seen after many months now of having them here is some wear on the text, which is almost nothing. Like, of course, it's nice to have a clean Gornation logo, but it's not everything. And besides of that, we just have a few scratches on the metal from them moving towards each other. But literally nothing that limits what you can actually train with them. And for me, that's just insane. So I couldn't be more happy with how they are performing when it comes to durability. Another category that's worth mentioning is actually storage. So if we have, for example, my metal parallettes, they are pretty compact, they can be pulled together and don't take up too much storage if you're training at home. However, if we then look instead on the static bar, it is significantly bigger. Even if it's an amazing equipment, it definitely takes up some space. So that's also something to consider if you're gonna have it at home. This specific static bar I actually recently upgraded since Gornation made a new version with a bar down here to increase stability, which was definitely a factor that was slightly limiting the versatility of this equipment. But so far I am truly enjoying it. This, I will say, is more for the advanced level. It's mainly for front lever. You could definitely do some planche on top, especially now with the increased stability. But all of these skills are more towards advanced. You could, of course, do some Australian pull-ups and stuff like that. But at that point, I might just get a dip bar or something similar. So I will say I love this equipment for what's built for front lever and stuff, but it might not be the equipment I will just instantly buy unless I'm training mainly the planche and front lever and back lever. But if I'm more towards handstand and some more beginner style training sessions, I might put this on a pause. When it comes to resistance band, this is the only equipment together with the dip belt that I actually use every single workout. And they have probably been stretched over 1,000 times. They've been with me over 300 sessions in total, and they are still holding up really freaking well. Over time, they have, of course, been a little bit stretched out. They are a bit softer to pull than when I first got them. But after such a long time of using them, I'm still surprised how they are holding up so well. There's not a single crack in them. I can use them exactly for what they were made for, and they are just always in my bag. So without explaining anything else regarding the resistance band, this is one of the equipments I would just instantly get without thinking twice. When it comes to versatility, I really want to give some cred to the metal parallettes. In the beginning, you can always do some basic push-ups, pike push-ups, maybe some handstand training, but then it is also insanely good for planche training. It allows you to have different types of grip depending on what you're training for. It allows you to have different types of width, and also the ratio of the height and width on the base allows you to do Maltese without them tipping over. And it's just so versatile for all different levels of calisthenics that this is also one of the clear takers that I would just instantly get if I would need to buy my calisthenics equipment once again. Something that definitely deserves an honorable mention is liquid chalk, this right here. It is something I've actually used for about 8 years within calisthenics, long before I even know what Gornation was. And it is such a contrast if you're using this or not. The grip, it's literally day and night. So if I'm doing handstand and, for example, want insane grip, I want to add this and maybe even some grip tape to get that perfect grip. But this little thing right here, the Gornation also have it in much bigger pieces, but this is my traveling one. The reason also I would recommend liquid chalk over the powdered chalk is the fact that it doesn't get all messy all over the place. This literally just goes onto my hands, takes a few seconds for it to dry, but then it's very targeted. And the same is if I want to pour it on some bar or something, I just put it on the bar, rub it in, and then wait a few seconds, and I'm really good to go. And the only place we have great grip is on the bar and not all over the air. So to be honest, I couldn't recommend liquid chalk more. The dip bars I'm also constantly having in the gym and constantly being used by other people. So there are a few things I have seen now when it comes to wear over time. First thing, the same as for the parallettes, is that the text is starting to loosen. Everyone is hitting them on metal sides, so you know, not too weird. And then the other part is some scratches on the feet, on the sides, also metal to metal. So we definitely have some wear over time, but then again, I've used them for pretty much 2 years straight, including with other people. So with that considered, it is holding up insanely well. The downside though when it comes to wear is that one of them have started to be a little bit wobbly. I think someone bent them slightly, or maybe I actually slightly destroyed them when I did my front flip regrab and it got a little bit bent. So that is the only thing that's a little bit wobbly, one of the feet. But to be honest, considering what I've done to them and how I have abused them, I don't think that's a major problem. So would I buy these dip bars over again? And the answer is a clear yes. These have been just amazing throughout the whole time I've used them. They've been appreciated by a lot of members in the gym, and I've used them for so many different things. And yes, I am at a pretty high level in calisthenics, so I also have a lot of stuff to do. But even for a beginner, these come in very handy. You can of course do dips, which they're mainly meant to do in the beginning, but you can also do Australian pull-ups, basic exercises, and then as you get better you can start evolving into planche, some front levers and back levers, and maybe even some handstand training at a significant height. So it's just an amazing equipment. And one thing I also quickly want to mention is the fact that you can store them very neatly. So if you have them at home or in a gym, they're not going to take up much space when you're actually just storing them away. So for sure, something I would just always reinvest in. Then we have the dip belt, and this one comes either with a rope or a chain. And when I started calisthenics 8 years ago, the chain was definitely the one I went with because the rope was just not something that really existed. But after many years now of development, and when the Gornation launched the rope, I instantly switched. The chain is great, but it's also very short, so it's not going to allow you to have that much weight. It's also very common that it gets stuck on your clothing and it can actually rip a hole in your clothes. Whereas with the rope, your clothes are going to be protected. It is much longer as well, and you have a much easier time to adjust. And with the Gornation one, you actually have numbers on the rope, so you know exactly what settings you have for certain exercises. And the dip belt you can literally have from the beginning to the end of your calisthenics journey. When you're starting off with light weights, it's going to work great, but also when you're coming up to the elite level weights, it's going to handle that just totally fine. The dip belt also works just as great for pulling exercises, whether you're doing muscle ups or probably pull-ups, especially in the beginning. It's going to handle that just fine. And the big difference here compared to having a weight vest is that the weight is distributed far down. So the dip belt doesn't really change the trajectory of your body when you're doing pull-ups. And once again, you can always load on heavier weights as you're getting stronger. I now use this exact dip belt for over 3 years, and I couldn't be more satisfied with how it's holding up. I've literally used it every single session for both my pull and also push workout, weighted dips and weighted pull-ups, and it is holding up so well. And with the rope attachments, it's also been a game changer when I've been training for heavier lifts and I've had a lot of weight underneath. The rope is definitely long enough for me to be able to do that, which has been just amazing for my progressive overload journey. And therefore, the dip belt is 100% something that I would buy again. To sum this up, the things I would just buy instantly again, because they have by far exceeded my expectations, are number one, a set of parallettes. This can be metal, it's what I recommend and what I like the most, but it could be wooden parallettes as well, depending on your preference. The other thing I would just instantly get as well is a set of resistance band. This could be a separate band depending on your level, or just a bundle with multiple different levels. You can have them for all your warm-ups, you can have them for tons of skill training, and also as a beginner you can have it for assistance to learn some of the basic moves like pull-ups and dips. Then the other thing is a set of dip bars. It's truly something I fall in love with, and I think it's the fact that you get two, which means that you can use it as a small static bar, so you can do all the front lever, all the planche variations, all the back levers, But then you can also put them together and you get just a set of big parallettes. So you can do handstands, you can do some Victorian, you can do planche, you can do so freaking much with them, and they are also very compact to store. So definitely deserves a spot on my go-to list. And then last but not least, something that I literally have every single day with me, that I use literally all the time. It's a little bit like obvious, but I'm still gonna say it here because it's just so good. And that is liquid chalk. I have it every single day. I even have it on the hands now because I have it all the freaking time. And if you have good grip, it just sets the foundation for a really good workout. So definitely something I will always have in my bag and that I have always bought, and I will always continue to do so. Now that you have the list of all the things that I would buy again, also have in mind that the Black Weekend for Gornation is currently live. So have a look there. There are going to be some insane discounts, and on top of that, with my code Simon, you get additional 10% off, and you of course also support my channel, which means a lot. If you want to upgrade your calisthenics equipment, now is definitely a perfect opportunity to do so, and you're going to get insane high quality equipment for a really good price. So definitely have a look. I will leave the link both up here but also in the description for you to check out. And while you're at it, definitely comment down below what your favorite calisthenics equipment is, and it might be different from my tier list, but who knows. So that being said, enjoy the Black Weekend shopping, and I will see you guys in the next one. Ciao, ciao.